Just days after we got the very first individual to effectively flip on the other 18 co-defendants in the Georgia trial, that man, of course, Scott Hall, talked about that yesterday. Looks like we may have another one. And this one, of course, is not even technically a co-defendant. It is, in fact, Bernie Kerik, who is represented by former Trump lawyer Tim Parlatore. And Bernie Kerik, according to Parlatore's request, is actually seeking immunity in exchange for his testimony in the forthcoming trial for Kenneth Chesebro and Sidney Powell, assuming, of course, those two do not take the plea deals that it is reported they are going to be offered. So, Bernie Kerik wants an immunity deal. And any immunity deal, of course, would come with the guarantee that you're going to speak honestly and truthfully about everything that you know happened during the attempts to overturn Georgia's 2020 election results. Now, Kerik, as I said, is not technically a co-defendant, but he was listed as a potential co-conspirator in the Georgia indictments. He has now been subpoenaed to come and testify at the forthcoming trial. Again, it's supposed to be later this month, unless Chesebro and Powell take plea deals. But Parlatore says, listen, Kerik's not coming unless you give him immunity, right? You've already listed that he's a co-conspirator, so criminal charges for him could happen. And of course, if he testifies and said, hey, I was doing this, I was doing that, you may hit him with charges, and we don't want that to happen. So you got to give him immunity in exchange for his testimony, of course. Now, technically, and Parlatore knows this, they don't have to do anything. He's been subpoenaed by a court of law. He has to show up. Now, he could plead the fifth throughout that entire testimony, of course, to prevent himself from being criminally implicated. But it actually seems like they already have information that could implicate him in criminal activity, which is why he's a co-conspirator, but not a co-defendant. So it's kind of in Kerik's best interest to not overplay his hand here, because, they kind of probably already have some stuff. So if you go into court and act like an uncooperating witness, they could just say, you know what, screw it. We weren't going to charge you, but now, based on what we've already got, you're being uncooperative. We could go ahead and charge you anyway. So I don't know that Kerik has a whole lot of wiggle room here, but I do believe, based on what we have seen so far, that prosecutors will in fact try to work out an immunity deal with him in exchange for him not pleading the Fifth Amendment and telling everything he knows. And you only seek an immunity agreement, of course, when you think you've done something that could be criminally charged. Somebody who's not a part of that wouldn't say, I need immunity. Like, from what? You didn't do anything, right? So this is a good indication that Kerik may have done some things that probably a little unsightly, but he is willing to tell about all the horrible things everybody else did. Kerik was effectively joined at the hip with Rudy Giuliani, who, of course, in this particular story is Donald Trump's right-hand man. So if Kerik was present when Giuliani and Donald Trump were, working out their plan to go down to Georgia and try to steal an election, then Kerik's cooperation, would be something of interest for the prosecutors in Fulton County. So I do believe they will offer him an immunity agreement. Again, he doesn't have a ton of wiggle room as it is. The prosecutors do hold all the chips in this case, but given the fact that they want this to go as quickly and smoothly as possible, I think an immunity deal will be given, and then Kerik's going to have to spill the beans on everyone that was involved. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.